Welcome to the Mysterious Shadow YouTube channel. Today I will tell you real horror stories that happened in shopping malls. Friends, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel before proceeding to the video. Have a good time. Emma, Olivia, and Ava, three close friends, decided to spend their Saturday exploring the sprawling mall on the outskirts of the city. The mall, a colossal structure filled with a labyrinth of stores, was bustling with weekend shoppers. The air was filled with the hum of conversations, the scent of freshly baked pretzels, and the occasional distant echo of laughter from the arcade. The three girls wandered from store to store, their arms gradually filling with bags of new clothes and accessories. They laughed and posed for selfies, capturing their fun day out. As they moved to a new section of the mall, Ava noticed something unusual out of the corner of her eye. A man dressed in a bizarre costume with a clown mask was standing a few meters away, seemingly watching them. She shrugged it off, thinking he was probably part of some mall promotion or event. The girls continued their shopping, but the man seemed to appear everywhere they went. Emma spotted him near the food court, Olivia saw him by the escalators, and Ava felt his presence behind them in almost every store. Their unease grew, but they tried to dismiss it, convincing themselves it was just a coincidence. As they entered a quieter part of the mall, the foot traffic thinned out. The dimly lit corridor was lined with lesser-known shops. The unsettling feeling of being watched intensified, and the atmosphere grew heavy with tension. The clown-masked man reappeared, closer this time, his eerie smile frozen in place. His eyes, visible through the mask's eye holes, seemed to bore into them with a sinister intent. The girls quickened their pace, their earlier excitement now replaced with fear. They whispered hurried plans to leave the mall and head home. Just as they turned a corner, they found themselves in a deserted section near the restrooms. The man appeared again, stepping out from the shadows, blocking their path. Without a word, he lunged towards Emma, grabbing her arm with a vice-like grip. Panic erupted. Olivia and Ava screamed, their voices echoing down the empty corridor. Emma struggled, but the man overpowered her, pulling out a small, sharp knife from his costume. He slashed at her arm, and blood splattered onto the tiled floor. Emma's scream was deafening as the pain shot through her arm. The sound of footsteps approached rapidly as mall security, alerted by the commotion, rushed to the scene. The clown-masked man, realizing he was outnumbered, released Emma and bolted down the corridor, disappearing into the maze of the mall. Emma collapsed to the floor, clutching her bleeding arm, while Olivia and Ava knelt beside her, their faces pale with shock and fear. Security personnel called for medical assistance, and within minutes, paramedics arrived, tending to Emma's wound and calming the frantic girls. The police were notified, and the mall was put on high alert, but the clown-masked attacker was never found. The horrifying incident left a deep scar on the friends, turning what was supposed to be a fun day out into a nightmare they would never forget. John had left home early in the morning to go to the shopping mall with his son. It was Sunday, and the mall was a popular spot for people to enjoy their weekend. Holding the hand of his 5-year-old son, Tim, John stepped out of the car in the parking lot. As the wide doors of the shopping mall opened before them, the crowd inside and the bright lights brought an excited smile to Tim's face. John started walking towards the toy store that his son loved. When they arrived, Tim seemed lost among the shelves filled with toys. John kept a close eye on Tim as he looked at the toys. However, what he didn't notice were the two men watching him and his son from a distance. The men, dressed in black, had a dark expression on their faces. They exchanged a brief glance and approached the entrance of the store. As John momentarily looked up at his phone, a strong hand suddenly grabbed his arm. The other man swiftly picked him up and carried him out of the store. Before John could comprehend what was happening, he let out a scream and tried to chase after his son, but the man holding his arm brought him to the ground. Lying on the floor, John heard his son's screams, filling him with terror. The men quickly moved towards the rear exit of the mall. John, in pain, got up and tried to run after them. However, it was difficult to navigate through the crowd, and his eyes filled with tears. When he reached the back exit, he realized his son was gone. Tim's cries could no longer be heard. John looked around desperately, but found no trace. The man and his son had vanished into thin air. In deep despair, John called the police and tried to explain what had happened. The police arrived quickly and launched a wide-scale search in the mall. But the men and little Tim were nowhere to be found. From that day on, John's life was covered by a dark shadow. Every day, he woke up in agony, thinking of his son's face and the moments they had shared. The terrifying event left an indelible mark on his mind. Tim had vanished forever. Emma, Jake, and Lily were wandering around the shopping mall on a Sunday afternoon. The three teenagers were spending time in this crowded place to enjoy their summer break, each browsing different stores. Emma looking at clothes, Jake checking out the electronics shop, and Lily spending time in the bookstores. After a while, the group decided to go to the restroom. They walked toward a restroom located at the back of the mall, which was usually less frequented. As they approached the restroom door, they paused when they heard a faint noise coming from inside. The door was slightly ajar, and something was happening inside. Jake decided to push the door open slowly and peek inside. When they entered, they saw a middle-aged cleaning lady busy scrubbing the dirty floors. Her face looked tense as if she were hiding a big secret. The cleaning lady seemed unaware of the teenagers and, for a moment, opened a door in the farthest corner of the restroom. Emma, Jake, and Lily exchanged silent glances, curiously watching what the woman was doing. She mysteriously pulled something out from behind the door. It was a small box, and she carefully examined its contents. The teenagers felt a chill, noticing the tension and urgency in the woman's movements. After inspecting the box, the woman quickly looked around and placed the box back in the hidden compartment. Just then, she noticed the teenagers watching her, and a sudden fear appeared in her eyes as she quickly shut the door. Emma, Jake, and Lily weren't exactly sure what they had seen, but they felt that something was definitely wrong. The woman, trying to compose herself, approached the teenagers and gestured for them to leave the restroom. Once they had retreated to a safe distance, the woman resumed her cleaning tasks, but the teenagers noticed her constantly glancing at the door. They quickly decided to alert the mall's security. The teenagers' story alarmed the security officers, who immediately took action to track down the cleaning lady and find out what was happening in the restroom. However, when they returned to the restroom, both the woman and the box were gone. Reviewing the security cameras, it was seen that the cleaning lady had left the mall in a hurry just a few minutes earlier. The contents of the box and what the woman had been doing in the restroom remained a mystery. From that day on, Emma, Jake, and Lily were always cautious whenever they went to the mall, and they never learned the secret of that mysterious woman.